Tokyo closed low. Get into their overseas companies. What's the latest on Spectre?
Acquire for me 100,000 shares in a company called Spectre Oil.
It's time to dissolve Spectre Oil.
We've had our money stolen by a very clever man who's an expert at share fraud.
Oh, I think we're clever enough to deduce that, Bradley.
None of us is knowledgeable in the world of stocks and shares, but we all are experts in our chosen field.
And what good does that do us?
That gives us a weapon against Metcalf. In fact, it gives us 4 weapons.
How do you propose we do that?
Not a penny more, not a penny less. Every penny paid that's due. Not a penny more, not a penny less. Mine for me and yours for you. See the pennies falling and catch them if you can, or if not, some other man will be slicker and quicker. Not a penny more, not a penny less. Penny less and pals are we, eager to return the pennies that we earn back to where they ought to be. Everybody tells you that nothing is for free, so your swindle's going to be very frankly unbankable. Cheating may be fun, but there's nothing like the chase and to see a villain's face when he's landed red-handed. Not a penny more, not a penny less. Count the pennies one by one. Not a penny more, not a penny less. Gather pennies by the time. Really, it's a question of blood out of a stone, extracted on your own very neatly and sweetly. Not a penny more, not a penny less. Let the pennies fall like rain, making very sure at the final score, every penny's home with us again.
In 1 month's time, Harvey Metcalf makes his yearly trip across the Atlantic to begin his European holiday. So we must begin our work at once. Now, each member of our team will put 10,000 pounds into the kitty, and I, as a mathematician, will keep a running account. All expenses incurred in getting our money back will be added to Mr. Metcalf's bill. All 4 of us must come up with a separate plan. Alone, we've no chance at all. Together, we can nail that crook.
Stephen? Stephen? Darling, you all right?
Oh, never better. Marvelous. Positively smashing.
What did you say?
You asked how I was. I said that I was fine.
You sound just like Professor Curbridge. In fact, you're walking like him.
Would you take me for middle-aged English Don?
No? But then maybe that's because I know who you are.
Good.
Stephen, if I wanted an English Don, I would have found one. There's no end of them here, in all shapes, sizes, and colors. I much prefer you as you. Now, what's this silly game about?
It's a math problem.
You're kidding.
A little experiment I'm working out.
Experiment?
If you don't mind, I'd rather not discuss it at some advanced work.
I don't believe you.
Jill, I wouldn't have admired you as much as I do if you did.
I used to enjoy being puzzled by you. I don't think I like being confused in this way. What's this about?
Nothing.
Then why are you shutting me out like this?
I'm not. I just have something very important to do. I need some time.
Then by all means, take it.
You don't mean to say we actually have to read this stuff, do you?
Absolutely. It's the standard reference book on intestinal disorders. Now, you must, all of you, please be familiar with it.
That's a real page turner.
Now, are any of you squeamish at the sight of blood? So we can do something about it. In the next 2 weeks, I want all of you, please, to attend as many operations as you can. And you'll be ready to assist the great surgeon, Dr. Sherman Baker.
The president's surgeon. Wow, why did you choose him?
To impress Metcalf.
Who's playing Dr. Baker?
Me, of course. James, you'll be needing the road maps of Monte Carlo, and Jean-Pierre, some knowledge of blackjack at the casino. My plan will come into effect the moment Metcalf arrives in Monte Carlo.
Okay, then who's going to go first?
What about your plan?
No, my plan can't go into effect until the last week he's in Europe. He needs to be in Oxford for Insignia. We need a plan for his arrival next week in London. What about you, James? Any ideas?
No, not as such. Not yet.
Aristocratic twit.
What the hell have you been doing these past 2 weeks?
Well, you know.
Well, I'm ready. Let's start with my plan.
Good.
Well done, Jean-Pierre.
Tomorrow, I want you all to meet a business friend of mine.
What do you want?
Good morning. We're all here to meet Jean-Pierre Lamont. My name's James Brigsley.
He's inside. He's waiting for you. Close the door behind you.
What is this place?
You might say that Ronnie restores missing sports cars and sells them discreetly in South London.
You mean he's a car thief?
Excuse me. No offense. Can we trust him?
Trust me? After what we've been through together?
Like a brother. We shared a room for a year in France.
A rather small room with barred windows. Those were the days.
Yeah.
My plan is so simple, even James will understand it. I mean to sell this painting to Harvey Metcalf for £300,000.
I'm no art expert, but that looks like the kind of painting you can buy at an auction for a couple thousand.
Yes, it's a totally undistinguished painting of the Barbizon school. But it has one glorious quality. Look here, that mark. That mark indicates that it once hung in the Berlin National Gallery. And with the help of the great Philippe Renaud, we will transform it into one of Renoir's most glorious nudes. Gabrielle.
Beautiful.
This painting has been missing since World War II.
So where is this great Philippe Renaud who's going to perform this miracle?
He's right here. You're looking at him. Gentlemen, this is Philippe Renaud.
Yes, gentlemen. Prior to my arrival in London, I was a struggling painter. But I discovered that I had a unique gift for reproducing other men's masterpieces.
Only he was selling them as originals.
I remember the Renault case. You sold a Van Gogh for £1 million to a Swiss collector who discovered it was a forgery.
He had to get the money back. Spent 3 years in the slammer.
Which makes me doubly bitter that with my practical knowledge of fraud, I could be conned as easily as Lord Dundham here.
Now, look here. I may not have your brains for larceny, but at least I've never been to prison.
I know a stay in prison might shock you into some common sense. It did me. That's why I gave it up and became an honest art dealer.
Honest art dealer? Isn't that a contradiction in terms?
Exactly.
Hey, guys. We're not here to get at each other. We're here to get at Harvey Metcalf. Now, Jean-Pierre, what are you going to do?
Watch me. This canvas is the same age as those on which Renoir painted. And with the Berlin National Museum stamp on the back, we have the verification for our painting. All we need do is remove the paint with this solvent. Gabrielle was his servant, probably his mistress and his favorite model. What we want is a painting that will appeal not only to Metcalf's greed as a collector, but to his lust as a man. Now, you must all study these books. Learn to be art critics. I want you all to be experts for my plan to work.
Oh, yes, it's very interesting. Look, how do we do this in a week?
Remember every expression which seems false and pretentious and use it. Then you'll be an art critic. Stephen, you speak some German, don't you?
A little.
Polish it up.
Haben Sie ein Zimmer mit Bad, bitte?
Haben Sie ein Zimmer mit Bad, bitte?
Mit Frühstück?
Mit Frühstück?
Darling, why this sudden desire to perfect your German?
Oh, there's a math convention in Heidelberg. I thought I'd improve my accent.
Oh, Heidelberg. Wishes to know whether Herr Dr. Stephen Bradley, he is visiting the conference in disguise as Professor Schnitzel Schnauzer.
Please take it off.
Okay, Stephen, let's talk about this. You wanted time to yourself. I gave it to you. We made it up, spent a great night together, and now you're off to Deutschland for some so-called conference. Stephen, what's happening?
You know I've always been peculiar. You said it was part of my charm.
This is not peculiar. This is an identity crisis. You've been working too hard.
This is none of your business.
Was I just put in my place?
No, I'm just saying it has nothing to do with you. If I'm having a problem, I like to handle it on my own.
How, by disguising it?
Why does this matter so much to you? Are we having a fight?
Yes. But you will not get me to back down. Somehow I will find out what's going on. You will not lose me.
Usual, please, Nino.
Alone tonight, my lord?
Yeah, it's got a bit of a problem to work out.
I know the feeling.
James! May I?
Anne?
All right.
Who is she?
Certainly not. You never tell me anything worth printing. Why should I help you?
Come along, you called her Anne. Let's start there. Anne who, and what, and why, and where. I want it all, Adam. Look, I promise you, the next time I hear anything remotely interesting, you will be the first one to find out.
Promise?
Yes, I promise.
Okay. Anne Somerton.
Where'd she come from?
America. But she's lived in Europe ever since her father sent her to the best school in Switzerland.
What's she doing in London?
Photojournalist.
Any family? Married, divorced?
Stunningly single.
Excuse me. Look, I'd really rather not be photographed mid-lust. I think you should have given me fair warning.
Oh, don't worry. I'm doing a feature story on London's nightlife, and Adam told me you were a leading figure in it.
Oh, did you really? Come and dance. When did you give up modeling?
You knew.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't take too much to work that out. You hated all the fuss, and your good American common sense told you that it wouldn't last. So you went to work as a photographer's apprentice. So you'd have a life after 30. Oh, yes, and of course you always loved fiddling around with cameras. How am I doing?
100%.
Look, why don't we go somewhere a little quieter so we can talk more about your intriguing life?
I really should ask Adam to join us.
Oh, what, ruin his evening? Look at him over there. He's in snob's heaven, chatting up the Queen's cousin.
Where do you propose we go?
Well, how about my flat? It's just around the corner. Look, you really should photograph your subject in his natural habitat.
No, thank you, Lord Brigsley.
Oh, dear. Does that mean I can't even offer you a lift home, then?
I wouldn't go as far as that.
Oh, good. Oh, yes. Very nice.
Well, the small part that's mine is. It's just a pied-à-terre for when I'm working in London.
I see. You have one in every capital of the world, do you?
Not quite. Thank you for driving me home, Lord Brigsley.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Would you like to come in for coffee?
Best not, I think. Better get the old beauty sleep, I suppose. Nighty-night.
That's absolutely beautiful.
You like it?
That's incredible.
Thanks. I think Renoir would agree. Now you fellows complete your art education while I finish my work. And after aging in the oven and varnishing it once again, it'll be ready for Harvey's arrival. Now, these are miniature radio transmitters. Get used to wearing them so that nobody notices. Don't lose them. They cost a fortune. The bill. For you.
Ah. Fine, I'll put it on account.
Good. Now, James, would it be too much trouble to think up some disguises for us?
Oh, no, I'd be delighted.
Good.
Look, it really is extremely kind of you to take pity on me like this. I haven't had a home-cooked meal in ages.
Apart from the fact that I don't believe a word you're saying.
Huh?
I had to do something to thank you for the lift the other night.
Oof. Oh, smells wonderful.
Now that's a relief. It suddenly occurred to me that maybe you didn't eat meat.
Oof.
So many people don't nowadays.
No. I'm afraid I'm not very good at giving up things I like. As my father never stops telling me. I'm afraid I'm not very popular with him at the moment. He's convinced I'll come to a bad end. And he's probably right.
You're very down on yourself, aren't you? Well, I find you very charming.
You know, that was an absolutely sensational dinner. May I stay for breakfast?
James, just because I find you charming doesn't mean I want to have an affair with you. The trouble is, I don't give my trust easily. And you're much too clever for me. And I'm just smart enough to know that.
Me? Clever? You don't know how wrong you are there. If I was clever, I'd be in better control of my life.
You give me the impression of being in control.
No, the fact is, I've made a complete bloody fool of myself.
All right, I'll forgive you this time.
No, I don't mean with you. Oh, look, I suppose I might as well tell you. I have stupidly invested a vast sum of money with a bunch of crooks who've stolen it. And in order to pay them, I have borrowed against a property that's been in my family for 600 years. And now I don't have the nerve to tell my father because James the Fool will become my official title.
Who did this to you?
I can't really say.
Don't you know?
Oh, yes. But I promised the others I wouldn't say anything about it to anyone.
Others?
Yes, 3 other fellows who were taken in with me. We've sort of joined together to try to get our money back. The only problem is we've each to come up with a scheme of our own devising, and I don't have the foggiest idea for one. They're all experts in their own fields. They'll all come up with brilliant schemes. But, well, what could I do?
There must be something special you can do.